All right, great. Good evening. Thanks for being here. It's surprising you're here before 7:50. All right, and that's good. Okay, thanks for being before 8 so that we can start perhaps working. I'm going to try to work with these words before going to the presentations itself. All right, at least let's wait that Majo can join the class so that we can all listen to everybody's presentations. In order to do that, please, and to finish with these words quickly. Again, the words that we don't get to see over here perhaps are going to be checked afterwards. And if you want me to help you out with that, you can contact me after that, all right? These are the only words that you have here, Stefania. So before going to the presentation itself and showing you one more time the criteria we're going to take into account very briefly, let's work on them, please. Let's begin by this word that is in the pronunciation part, please, Stefania.
Okay, teacher, comparison.
Okay, comparison, good. That I'll write a little bit more like good, comparison. What about these ones over here? These expressions. Can you hear me, Stefania?
Now, yes, teacher, but I'm going to please give me a...
Okay, go ahead, please, Stefania. All right. In the meantime, please, let's try to work with you, Carolina. I don't know if you can hear me, Carolina.
Yes, teacher, good evening.
All right, hello, good evening. Let's try to finish with these words that we have over here, please. Let's read first the ones on the left.
Okay, teacher. Entities, automatical, comfortable.
Okay, they are way better. All right, I'm going to then delete those ones. And then this is going to be just for you to work for yourself, but it's good. What about these expressions here?
I think the first one, it was wrong because it was the order of the expression. It was in a wrong way. I think could be an embedded question. Sorry.
Okay, good. And what else? Well, is that the only thing? Let's try to analyze. This is this. What does this impress? It says, right? To have. What else could it be? All right, you're going to try to analyze that one. Then you have
sorry,
this one. Okay, don't worry. What do you say, Caroline?
I think the first one was wrong also because impress was not the right word. And the other, it was answer to you. Answer you, it was wrong.
Okay, good. The following. What about the following one?
Then punctuate was wrong. It was better to say rate.
Great. And this one?
The last one, it was wrong because we can say phenomenon. It's better to say phenomena.
Okay, good. Yes, when we have a lot of phenomena or one phenomenon, right? Phenomenon. Good. Very good. All right. So those two, again, you can work that by yourself. Let's go now to these words. This is something that we didn't work, but we need to take advantage now. Let's read, please, these words to check the pronunciation.
Okay, teacher. Climate, regional,
Okay.
the earth.
All right.
Recent.
Okay.
Dioxide.
Okay.
Interchangeable.
All right. The next one.
Invade.
All right.
Comparison.
Okay.
Crisis.
All right.
Companionship.
Good. And the last one, please.
Customizable.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, the ones that are not marked, we're going to repeat those ones, please. This one is more like climate.
Okay.
Let's repeat that one, please.
Climate.
Interchangeably.
Interchangeably.
This one is good, but you're forgetting about the last D. Invaded, right? Invaded.
Okay. Invaded.
Good. And customizable.
Customizable.
All right, good. Again, you're still going to have access to these documents, Carolina. You can work this by yourself. And again, if you want me to help you in the future, you just can contact me and I'm going to listen to what you say, all right? What about these ones? Do you remember about these expressions?
I think the first one was wrong because it's just to begin this presentation. I think in was wrong.
Okay, yes, that's one option, correct. What about the following one?
It was, I remember that I mentioned have been affected and, sorry, has been affected, and the correct way was have been because are plural.
Very good. The next one, please.
I think it was wrong in the structure. Some images of how can be the world in a few years. I'm not sure of that one, teacher.
This one is related. I'm going to help you out to the order. Remember, this is like embedded question, right? Some images of how the world could be in a few years, right? Change that for could and change the order. Say first the subject, the world, and then the model, right? Some pictures or some images of how the world could be in a few years. All right, that's it. Over here.
I think it was wrong. Maybe the grammatic. I'm not sure too, teacher.
All right, don't worry. This is close to most the expression, let's say, more than grammar, the expression. If they achieve survive, right? No, perhaps if they get to survive, right? Or if they achieve something that is the survival, but it's not that common, right? If they get to survive, they will live in a world or a world that is like this and like that, right? Just that one. What about this one?
I think the verb was wrong. It is better to say drive a bicycle.
Correct, exactly. To ride a bicycle is way better. Or to go on a bicycle, but the idea of driving or riding that one is better with ride. What about this one? This one was kind of weird. I told you, right? Imagine how gas then you spend when you travel in a plane. But how do you think you can fix this entire expression? How gas you spent?
I think maybe instead of saying gas, could use another word. I think it sounds kind of weird. Imagine how gas. I think maybe that is the mistake.
Exactly. And you can say something like, imagine how much gasoline or how much gas or how much fuel you spend when you travel, right? Or how much of something you spend when you travel, right? Okay, good. That's the mistake over there. And that's the most important part here.
I think the verb was wrong too. Investigate. Maybe it could be better saying I research a website.
And there is, it's okay, all right, but I'm going to help you out also with that one. The explanation is good. To investigate can also be a good verb. But if you're using this in past, because you were saying that in past, all right, you were telling us, I investigated could be, but instead of investigate with web page, I would say I did some research, all right? I did research on this web page and I found this video and that information and so on. All right, so it's better to say I did some research or I did research here and there and so on. All right, what about this one?
I think that is related to the presentation, teacher. I'm not sure if we see that.
Yes, no, it's over here, right? This part, if you can omit this one, I'm going just to delete this one over here. But this one, remember, I read this for you. There's a very, very like notorious mistake here. What do you think it is? It's related to number.
I think maybe more it's wrong. We have I would say just we have more dynamic activities.
Okay, exactly. We have more dynamic activities, right? We don't say a more dynamic activities. You can say we have a more dynamic activity, one, or we have more dynamic activities, right? Okay. What about the next one?
Maybe saying don't know how is wrong to referring to another person. I think the verb was wrong. I would say instead of don't know how is, maybe you don't meet the other person.
Okay, but actually you can know about the other person, right? Because when you meet, actually it's like the encounter. And also when you know someone for the first time is when you meet someone, right? But here it's correct. You can know or you can not know someone, right? I know you very well. I know that you are not like that. So you can use, actually here, it's related to the other. Remember, embedded questions? You don't know how the other person is, right? You don't say how is the other person. You say how the other person is, right? The verb has to be after the subject for embedded questions. What about this one?
I think also it was the order. Maybe it should be better if it was an embedded question.
Okay, in which way? What do you think here? What would you change?
I think could be when have we, because I think now is an embedded question, when we have a relationship.
Okay, but more than that one, because yes, if this is a question, but in this case, this was part of a sentence, all right? So it is okay when we have, right? But remember, it's order, but it's not of an embedded question, it's the adjective order. Face to face here, it's an adjective, right? And you don't say a relation face to face, you say a face to face relationship with another person, right? A face to face relationship with another person, all right? What about the next one?
I think the verb it was wrong too. I think it's not the best way saying they are talking with their, maybe could say they are using their cell phones.
Okay, good, exactly. And that's one option, correct. Or you can say they are talking on their cell phones, right? So you can use on their cell phones or using their cell phones, correct. This one over here.
I think it's kind of redundant saying most principal. I will say just the principal reason.
Okay, exactly. And what is a better word than principal? Because principal is mainly used for another purpose. It could be okay. But what is a word that is commonly used in English instead of principal in this context?
I think could be important.
Could be important, but also main, right? Actually, they
Oh.
say main more than principal, right? The main reason or the most important reason, right? Those are the two possibilities. Okay, good. But you get the idea over there. That's great. This one over here.
I think it was a wrong formulate, be shamed. Maybe just say she feels shame.
But actually, you can use shame as an adjective in this way with be, but you need to add at the beginning, to be ashamed, right? To be ashamed, all right? Just that one. We're going to mark like this one and this over here.
Um, I'm actually not sure about that one, teacher. Maybe instead of using will, it was better use I'm going to show you or to present you a graphics, because I think show it was wrong.
Okay, could be, but actually In that one, you can say, I will show you, right? I will introduce you to, but look at the last part. What is happening?
Yes, it was because graphics, and it could say just I will show you graphics, or I will show you a graphic without plural.
Yes, correct. Exactly. All right. That's it, Carolina. Do you have any questions about this? Again, now this is for you to work by yourself, and if you want, you can contact me. But do you have any questions about these expressions and words?
No, teacher, it's okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Carolina. Now, I'm going to finish with you. Let's go back to you, please, Stefania. We'll finish this quickly, and then we'll go with the presentations, also Majo. So let's begin with these expressions, please, Stefania.
Okay, the first one is they don't have any weight.
Good.
The other, we go to the university, or we are at the university. We have access. We have a immediate access dictionary.
Okay, to a dictionary. Okay, correct.
You need to go to a library, right? Library.
Good.
The technology gives us.
Correct.
And it's easier.
That's it. All right. It was very few. So that's it, Stefania. Again, do you have any questions about this? Let me know.
No, teacher.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. And now let's try to finish at least this part with you, Majo. Let's begin by reading the words that we have in the pronunciation part, please.
Okay, teacher. It is estimate.
Okay.
Autism. Yes, the first conquest, carnival, that. Okay.
Yes, please.
Conquest, carnival, unique, tribute, parade, fortune, peculiar, sacred, found, live, and costumes and costume.
Okay, very good. This last one was very good. All right, great. Now this one's one more time. This is a good, sorry, this one and this one, good. Just this one's over here. This one because it's the first time, but this one, the stress, unique in the last part, all right? Unique. Let's repeat that one.
Okay, unique.
Exactly. This one, the stress as well. The pronunciation is good, but the stress. Fortune. Fortune.
Okay, fortune.
Right. This one again, the pronunciation is good, but the stress, peculiar. Peculiar.
Peculiar.
This one, that more like a, sacred.
Sacred.
Very good. All right. And this one was correct. Good. What about this? Do you remember these mistakes over here?
I don't remember, teacher, but I don't remember, teacher. But yes,
I'm going to help you out. For example, why is it incorrect to say good night when you say hi?
Because it's more polite, say good evening to a presentation.
Correct. And actually, because it's incorrect to say good night as a greeting. Okay, you never say good night to say hi. All right, that's the big thing over there. What about this one? I hope that you entertain. What could be a better way to say that one?
Because it's better to use enjoy, not I hope that you entertain, only enjoy. I hope you enjoy.
Very good, exactly right. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, correct? What about the next one, Majo? You said something like resisted, right? But what was the word? Do you remember?
Yes, teacher. Do not fully express the context. Only maybe we would have been. I don't remember, teacher, but not is the context in my presentation.
Okay, yes. And actually, we were related to pronunciation and the word. It was a better word, right? So resisted, all right? Not I, instead of resisted, something like that. Resisted, or you can say endured or remained. right? In that context. What about this one? The land of Bolivia.
The land of Bolivia is redundant. Only Bolivia is enough.
Okay, yes, in English, they don't use those words, right? Sometimes, but it's better to say only that one, correct? Spectators clap and cheers.
Yes, that expressions are bad because are two expressions. I don't know, maybe.
Okay, what could it be? What is the right way? What is the correct way of saying this? There are two
I
things.
don't know, teacher.
Okay, don't worry. Remember, spectators is not as common. You only say like people, right? Or the attendance, right?
Ah, yes,
People,
teacher. Mhm.
and if it's plural, you say clap, correct? But you don't say cheers because cheers is third person. You only say cheer, right? So people clap and cheer, right? Clap and cheer without the S, all right?
Yes.
What about this one over here? Perhaps if you remember, it says 1 week before one event is one of the most important. Do you remember that one?
Not is necessary. So not is necessary. I don't know, teacher. Don't remember. I don't remember.
All right, don't worry. It was something like this. You mentioned an event and you said 1 week before, I don't know, this carnival or this, you were talking about also Keiko and some other customs, right? Is one, but you have to say there is one or we have one of the most important, right? So you need one subject. Before this event, comma, we have one of the most important or there is one of the most important. So the thing here is missing one subject, okay? Only that one. You're missing one subject, all right? Now, I know, but we're going to spend at least 3 more minutes here. Let's try to read these words over here, please.
Okay. It is estimate, autism, function, ISD, racial, very, symptoms, repetitive or repetitive, area, resistance, differences, track, unquestionable, spreading, majority, diagnosed, and child.
Thank you very much. Now let's check. Read this one more time. This one more time, please. Marco. You read this.
Chicas, cierra la puerta, por favor.
What do you think is the correct? One of those was the correct, but which one? The first one or the second one? Because you read this with 2 types of pronunciation.
Repetitive.
All right, so you're with that one. And what about this one?
Unquestionable.
Okay, good. So only these ones, let's continue actually. Let's finish with these ones also so that I give you my full feedback.
Okay. Cultures, United Nations, European Union. I don't remember the European Union.
Okay.
Customs, in writing, Switzerland, material, accessible. No, accessible. Published, employees, colleagues, areas, personal, and improve.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, let me give you my whole. All the ones that are in green are okay, all right? Just be careful with this one. Differences, all right, the stress, but it was good, all right? Differences, unquestionable, it's good, but you have to be more sure, all right? Unquestionable, correct. Switzerland, try to make it more like that, right? Switzerland, but it was correct again. And accessible, all right? So those in green were correct. But these ones, you're going to repeat these, please, after me. Remember that ED has to be noticeable. It is estimated. right? Estimated. Let's repeat, please, Majo.
Estimated.
Good. Au in English is going to be like in French. Oh, autism.
Okay.
Autism.
Autism.
Mhm. This one, that A is A, right? ASD.
ASD.
This one, the first one was correct, Majo. Repetitive. Repetitive.
Repetitive.
Very good. That A, more like A. Area. Area.
Area. Yes, area.
This one, the pronunciation was good, but the stress. Be careful with the stress. Resistance. Resistance.
Okay. Resistance.
Diagnostic. Diagnostic.
Diagnostic.
And this one, I think it was good. Read this one, please, Majo.
Child.
Okay. The child. Good. This was correct. Sorry. This more like a culture, and between a and o, culture.
Culture.
United Nation.
United Nation.
This one, the stress. European Union.
European Union.
Union, more like you. Union.
You. Okay. European Union.
Correct. Enriching.
Enriching.
This one, read this one once again, please.
Okay. Material.
Material, yes. It's correct. This more like a published.
Published.
Remember this double E at the end. Employees.
Employees.
Colleagues.
Colleagues.
This is the same as before. Remember that I'm more like areas.
Areas.
And this one, personal, is one thing, but this is the personal. Personal.
Personal.
Good. That's it. All right. We're going to work this perhaps later on. Don't worry about that. But if you want me to work with that, just let me know. All right. But let's begin with the presentations now, please. So let me know, Majo, Stefania, Carolina, who wants to start? Anybody? Okay, you have to. Okay, we have an order. So first Estefania, then Carolina. All right, Estefania and Carolina. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, but before doing that, I'm going to remind you the following. Please take into account this information. Okay, one more time. Quickly. Pronunciation 20, right? Vocabulary 20. If you read too much, you're only going to have 2.5 points, right? If you want to have the 20, don't read a lot. Then organizing, you know how to do it, right? Introduction, how to do the body, the conclusion, paraphrasing or using one's own words, sorry. Again, you need to paraphrase throughout the whole presentation. You don't read more than short phrases or sentences to remember specific information, all right? If you read throughout the entire presentation, you're going to lose points over here. And time management, you have 15 minutes in total, all right? 14 and 30 seconds, it's okay. 15 and 30 seconds, it's okay. More than that and less than that is going to be penalized, all right? That's it. I stop sharing my screen then. You can share yours, Estefania. And whenever you're ready, please let me know so that I start my timer and then you may begin.
Teacher, today we do questions.
No, today we're not going to work with questions, all right? If we have time, I'm going to give you some feedback and perhaps I'm going to ask you something about the presentation, all right? But you're not going to ask questions to your partners this time.
Okay, teacher, thank you.
Great, you're welcome.
Okay, teacher. Okay, I'm going to start. Okay, good evening to teacher and partners. Today, I'm going to start with this question. Do you prefer cold or hot water? So, in my case, I prefer hot water or warm weather for everything. I like to travel or live because you get more sunlight, you feel more motivated for all. You can dress lighter warm water improves your memory, and also is not safer. Sorry, is healthier, and you're most likely to be outgoing and sociable. To comments, sunlight gives you a lot of benefits. It gives you your body its much needed dose of vitamin D, which helps to prevent cancer, provides a higher energy, and helps your bones be strong and healthy. It's true that a sun can damage your skin, but I think with a good care, like use sunscreen and limit or direct exposure to the sun, we can enjoy the summer or any activity in our days. A hot weather not is only for your vacations, is for every day in our lives. A hot weather is associated with a good humor. For example, warm weather causes that the body produce less of the stress hormone. So we are unstressed, and we are most likely to enjoy our days or activities or life. In addition, sun exposures decrease the hormone melatonin, yes, which causes us to sleep, so we can be more activate and alert. Another benefit is that the hot weather produces that we can feel more motivated. I think it is a complement with the other benefit, because warm weather gives us more reasons to be active, either to exercise or just get up and go outside. The sun signals your body and your brain to produce more of the hormone called serotonin, which makes you happy and improves your mood. So you'll be happier and be able to enjoy your days without having to deal with the winter time blues. I think everyone wants to wake up and feel a little warm to start the day, because that way is easier to get out your bed, to take a shower or prepare your breakfast with a good mood. To illustrate, I live in La Paz with a cold weather all the time, so I can't get up of my bed easily at 15 a.m. So the cold in the morning, it makes me sleepier and wants to stay in my bed all the day. So like a third benefit, and I think it is most like personal opinion, is that we can dress more lighter or comfortably. I think it's very important dressing with less clothing, like lighter, as I was saying. As an example, when I need to put a lot of clothes for the weather, that is always for my city, I feel uncomfortable and maybe, I don't know if it is correct, but heavy with a lot of things on me. So I think it's too bad. Yeah. Also, I think for many people, dressing in fashion is important, which is most difficult in cold weather because you really need a sweater or jacket to go outside, and the outfit is ruined. Now, talking about how the weather helps your mind. Warm weather improve your memory. According to a study by researchers at the University of Massachusetts, our alertness and mental performance are better when our body temperature is higher. To illustrate that, the cold can produce attention difficulties, behavior, and even cognitive function, because the body and especially the brain need a temperature in certain range in order to function properly. I think that is why people say that if you take ice cream too fast, your brain freezes. I think something like that, but in cold weather, your brain freezes. Now, another benefit is that warm weather is healthier because it's better for your heart and your lungs. And it's possible that you live longer for that reason. Talking about your heart and lungs, cold weather can negatively affect your heart and your respiratory system. This happens because when your body tries to regulate its temperature, your blood pressure can rise beyond normal, while the heat helps open the blood vessels, giving the heart a short break from working to pump blood. Also, cold airs makes breathing difficult, so freezing temperatures make you feel like your lungs are on fire, and decreasing the amount of time that you really want to spend outside. And like an example, I listened a lot of times that normally when a person gets sick with blood pressure or something related with the lungs, doctors recommended hot climates to live longer and easily. Now talking about live longer, the author Dan Bodner, I think that's the name, classified 5 regions of the world as blue zones, where people usually live more than 100 years, and a factor that characterizes them is the warm climate. Although the hot climate doesn't guarantees a long life, but helps in the general well-being of people, because the people to go outside for walks or exercise, which means they breathe more fresh air and improve their circulation. Now, the last benefit is that people who lives in a hot weather is most likely to be outgoing and sociable, because since they are child, they are used to doing activities outside. Normally, the parents put their children to different activities such as soccer, basketball, volleyball, and dances classes, among others. while people who live in cold climates tend to, I don't know, accustom their children to staying at home. Now, like a comparison in between hot and cold weather, we can say that hot water is healthier because it helps your bones, your heart, lungs, your memory, your body in general, while cold water difficult your heart and lung function. Also, hot water increase your good feelings, like, I don't know, you feel more motivated or relaxed, happier, I don't know, while cold water increase your sleep and you feel more stressed and unmotivated. Also, hot water permits you to be in fashion and dress more lighter, while cold water forces you to use a lot of clothes and makes you feel more uncomfortable. Is that hot water encourage you to do more activities outside, and for that socialize more, while a cold water makes you want to stay at home. Like a conclusion, those are the reasons why I prefer warm weather, because that type of climate makes me feel happier. And now we know that warm weather is healthier for our body, for our memory, for everything. And also, I think every person is different. Every person lives in a different climate and loves that. But I think everybody prefers hot weather because, I don't know, everybody prefers to go to a vacation and a hot water for a fun and relaxing vacation. And yes, that's it, teacher. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Stefania. I'm going to stop the timer. Good. So we have the 13 minutes and 33 seconds. All right. I'm going to share now this with you and give you my feedback. As we're not going to be able to work this later on, I'm going to make you repeat some of the words. All right. And we're going to practice here some elements before going with Carolina. All right. So let me share this with you. Okay, and this and this. All right, so that's the time. 13 minutes, 33 seconds. It's good. So in general, again, you organize your presentation in a very good way because I was able to recognize all the elements that I was asking for. You started with a question, then the immediate answer, and that answer, sorry, this is a mistake, that answer had the reason, right, and some reasons about it. All right, and you mentioned the benefits. Then in the body, you gave me the benefits in detail. You were giving me examples for every part of your presentation, paraphrasing, which was notorious and it was very good, and contrasting, right, by mentioning other ideas. And also you had like a comparison chart. It was not a chart, but something similar to it. And your conclusion with a summary, personal opinion, and restatement of your main idea, right, saying, I really believe that this is the best option, right? And this is the best answer. So good. Okay, it was very well organized, and as well, you did it in a way that it was very understandable and clear for everybody. All right, so that's very positive. In terms of the feedback, time was not bad. All right, it was good, but you could have used a little bit more, right? To try to go to the 14 minutes and 30 seconds. We're not that far from that part, but we are 1 minute behind the expected time, right? That in terms of the time. Then in terms of the words that we have over here, Let's work with these ones. To commence, all right, to commence. This one was not clear. The next time it was good, but it's better if you repeat the second time you pronounce, I think. Exposure, right? Exposure to something. Signals, right? We don't say psych, signals. This is good, but I think you had only one mistake. That I was to a, and you said something like without having, right? But that's going to be understood as a different word, right? Having, without having, to, all right? This one, okay, is not bad, all right? When I make you pronounce this as comfortable, all right, it's because it's a standard. It's not incorrect, totally incorrect if you say comfortable, but if you say, for example, uncomfortable, it's going to be incorrect in terms of the stress. It's better if you say uncomfortable, all right? And again, try to omit the O. That's the best thing you can do with this word. And the stress should be in the co. Uncomfortable, all right, here, not in the for, but in the co, all right, uncomfortable. This one more like a, heart, the heart, all right, stress, temperature, all right, temperature in the first part, au, remember, like in French, and this th like the author, right, the author. Then this one, but I want to be sure. How do you read this, Stephanie?
Characterize.
So it's going to be
Characterize.
characterizes, all right? Characterize. It characterizes by this and by that, all right? Then this one, I think you had the word in your presentation, Stefania, but you read it a little bit different. It's going to be guarantee, right? Guarantee and climate, all right? Those ones. Let's try to read these words, please, Stefania.
Okay, to comment, no, to comments.
Okay.
Exposure, signals without having, uncomfortable.
Good.
Okay, heart, temperature.
That one, let's stop there.
Heart,
Sounds like,
sorry.
because if not, it's like the past, right? I heard you. It sounds like that.
Heart, temperature, the author.
Good. In the previous one, is instead of temperature, it feels like the stress that you're saying is in the ra. Temperature, no, temperature. All right, temperature.
Temperature. Okay.
Okay.
The author characterize. I don't
Characterizes.
Characterizes. Guarantees and climate.
Good. This one, actually, this is the incorrect one. Guarantee. Only guarantee.
Guarantee. Okay, guarantee.
And this one, climate. All right, climate. And this one over template.
Okay.
That one over there.
Which one? Author.
Author. Okay, good. Very good.
Author. Yes.
Author. Author. It's not incorrect to say author. Is good, but that always very important. Author or author. Okay, good. This one, a hot weather is, no, you said a hot weather not is only, right? But is not only, right? Just the other, is not only. Then we can be more activate. No, we can be more active or energetic, right? Active, not activate. Active or energetic, right? This one, this was a mistake, all right? In certain points of your presentation. Remember, third person. I know that you know that one because in other parts was correct, but the word improve and also increase and encourage, those were not conjugated in third person, right? But you have to conjugate in third person. Warm weather improves your memory, right? This one, instead of behavior and cognitive functions, you can say behavioral, perhaps over there. It's not as common, but it's better in scientific, all right, speech. Behavioral and cognitive functions. People who live in your presentation was correct, and then later on you said that correct, but the first time you said is, right? But remember, people are, right? People who live there are most likely or more likely. This one, you said tend to accustom, no, tend to get accustomed, you can say, all right? To get accustomed or to get used to doing something, all right? To get accustomed or to get used. Then hot weather increases, the same, right? Increases, and the same as above, hot weather encourages, all right? Increases, encourages. And this one, instead of like for examples, you can use for examples or for similarities. But if you want to talk about the conclusion, it's better to use as a conclusion. All right, and that's it. I'm not going to ask about this one, like to repeat, but do you have any questions about these corrections or observations? Let me know, please, Stephanie.
No, teacher, thank you.
Great, that's it. Again, it was a great presentation. Just be careful with time management and these elements over here. I'm going to add this to the document. Again, that's for you, right? In case you want to work that, let me know, and when you work this and you're sure about your pronunciation, you can contact me and show me how you're reading those words, all right? Great. Any final comments before going to Carolina? Estefania, let me know, please.
No, teacher.
Great, thank you very much. Let's go now to you, please, Carolina. You are the second one, so I'm going to start sharing my screen. You let me know when you're ready, and I start my timer with your presentation.
Okay, teacher.
Great.
Teacher, can you see?
It's loading, but I think, yes, you're sharing your screen. Okay, now, yes, I can see it. Very well.
Okay, teacher. I'm going to start, teacher.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay. Good evening, classmates and teacher. My name is Carolina Lopez, and today I'm going to talk about which is better, legalization of the death penalty or make the death penalty illegal. Before beginning with the presentation and all the structure, I would like to say in two things that I think are the most important here. First, remember that since we are talking about a person's life, it is important to treat these issues with responsibility and seriousness, as they are not things about one should joke about. And also, I think every topic that involves persons' lives or crimes should be really serious for everybody. So I'm going to talk about this with the major respect for everyone. And then I would like to mention what is the death penalty and in which ways some countries apply this. First, death penalty, capital punishment or execution, consists of causing the death of a state person sentenced by the state as punishment for committing a really serious crime established in the legalization. It must be distinguished from extrajudicial executions since these are carried out without due legal process. I would like to also say that around the world, every country has distinct parameters which they follow to apply this death penalty. But in general, the most common crimes that the countries applied death penalty are murder, terrorist acts at the highest level, rape, crimes that affect public health at highest levels, such as drug use. And then once I already mentioned those things that I think are really important and I like to make clear, I would like to begin. So, which is better? Well, death penalty should be legal. I think this is better. There are several reasons why it is believed that the legalization of the death penalty should be enforced. Death penalty, among them, reduction of crime, making the world a better place to raise the female gender, improvements in education, health, and other things that I will explain then. So beginning with the explanation of the benefits of the death penalty, I will emphasize in 4 areas that I think are the principal to then mention other things that come with that. First, decreasing crime, improvements in education, improvements in the economy, and more resources for the health. So, decreasing crime. As a result of the death penalty being legalized, the greatest criminals will die, and people who did not commit such as serious crimes, probably out of fear of this sentence, will no longer commit any wrongdoing. First, I would like to make clear there are 3 types of crimes in all the countries. There are the crimes which are really serious, as murders, terrorism acts, and use of drugs and others. There are crimes that are not too hard, and there are crimes that are in a way that are not really hard. For example, stealing or lying or something like that. And so as a result of the death penalty, those crimes that are not really hard could be also eliminated. Also, another benefit could be improvements in the education. The resources that are not spent on crimes will be destined to one of the pillars of any country, that is education. We all know that education is one of the most important things in the countries. And I think now, especially in those times, people should receive a lot of education and good education, because with the situation and the pandemic and other factors that has been since time to now, the education was really bad, especially for the people who are in the prom or in the junior year. I think we should, if the penalty death will be legalized, the money that is spent now in the penal resources or in the people who commit these crimes will be spent in the education. Also, as a consequence that I was mentioned before, improvements in the economy. The economies of the countries will improve considerably, since so many resources will no longer be spent on prisons and citizen crimes. I make a research, and I really make a surprise, because I didn't know how money the countries spent in the prisons and citizens crime. So it is a lot. And I think if we have that money and we didn't spend just in those things, we could also improve our economy. I think this is especially for Latin American countries, because our economy is not the best. So I think this is a really important point. And also more resources for the health area. I think those 3 points are related, because those are in the way that we spent a lot of money in prisons and citizen crimes. So if we don't have to spend those quantity of money, we could spend in improvement the health area, the education, and things that are really important, I think, for all the countries. With improvement of the economy, this money could be used to build tertiary hospitals, facilities for people who require quality medical care. I think this is really important too, because especially in Latin America, we don't have a lot of tertiary hospitals, and it's really worrying, I think, because we all know that people dying every day, and we don't have maybe the enough resources to make them live. So I would like to make emphasis into things that I already mentioned. That was the decreasing crime and improvements in the economy. First, the decreasing crime is a fact that has occurred in all countries that have the death penalty in force. I would show you an examples after. As it has been shown that this sentence persuades people not to commit any crime again, or in any case, the crimes are of the lower rank serious. That means that the crimes that the people normally commit in those countries are stealing or something that is not really hard as murder someone. Improvements in the economy that I was explaining a few moments ago. In the same way, it is verified that by not using so many resources in the improvement of prisons, resources that prisons need, for example, repairs, the public damages that they could have used for their crimes or other things that the government has to pay, the common economy would improve considerably, and in this way, it could be used in other areas. As I mentioned before, education, health, transportation, for example, in Bolivia could construct a metro that we don't have. I think most countries have a metro, but we don't. So could be an option. And maybe other things that could improve, as I mentioned, education, health, education in university, and maybe construct more laboratories in health, hospitals, and other things. So now I will show you and explain and clearly example of how a death penalty works. And I think this was really amazing for me. It was Singapore. Well, a clear example of the aforementioned is the Republic of Singapore. This used to be one of the most dangerous and risky places to live. The crime rates were quite high. There was no stable economy and people did not consider it to be a good place to live. Educate your children. Since the death penalty was put into effect, Singapore is currently considered one of the best countries to live. The crime rate is almost zero, so much so that its prisons are empty. So since the death penalty was applied in that country, Singapore really improved in a lot of ways. I mean, education, health, also the people that live now in Singapore think and consider that this is a good place for the children and also for the women, because we all know that are a lot of crimes into the women, sorry. And I think it's really hard growing up and living in a world like that. I think maybe it sounds cruel because we are talking about a person's life, and as I mentioned before, but we all know that this could be a good option to be the world better, to be our country safer than are now, sorry. And I think maybe the most difficult things or the most hard things pass for a process to being difficult. For example, I think this death penalty is something difficult, but the result could be really good. So I think maybe we could consider that and not just say, no, it's really wrong and I'm not going to listen anything that the people want to say. Because as I mentioned here, Singapore is a real example, and it's just one of the I think it was almost 10 countries that apply death penalty, and all the countries has a really positive results. So Singapore is just one of those. As you can see here, this is a citizen penal. It is a place which is almost empty. This is just a security person, I think. It's really empty. There are practically new. Spend a lot of resources in those places. So I think it's really important. Here we have an image of Singapore that, as we can see, is a really modern place, a good city. If you can, I not find a photo, an image of Singapore where before applied the death penalty, but it was horrible in comparison to that picture. So it is really amazing. I think it's really impressed. I think maybe when we hear that the death penalty, we immediately said no, But if we research a little bit, and if we compare and share with other people our opinions and maybe other information, could be we could have a better opinion in that way. Also, here I have a graphic that show us the crimes in Singapore. As you can see, it is really low now. So I think it's really important to know about those topics. Also, I know that this is a really hard topic to talk about and to explain, because it is a lot of things that are in those topics. I mean, the laws, the people, the crimes, and now how is the world. But I think with a little of information, because if we investigate a lot, maybe we could have better resources to explain other people our positions and our opinion. But just with a little investigate, just with a little things that I already read, I really think that could be a good option. The death penalty could be a really good option. So, in conclusion, and all in all, and because we must think about the future of other generation, and if we want them to live in a better world, I agree with that penalty. And this is not just saying because I think it is I think just consider that that penalty should be applied and that's it. No, I'm thinking, and I think the persons who apply the penalty in their countries also think in the future, because as Singapore, there is a clearly example of how that penalty works. It was a horrible place to live, and then they apply maybe a drastic way, but it improves a lot. So maybe the future, the children that are now growing up in Singapore, or the women that are growing there, have a really good quality of life in comparison to the people that lived before. So I think we should think also in the future generations, because I don't think that anyone here would like to other people live as we are living now, with a pandemic and with a lot of bad news all the days. I think it's really hard and really difficult to hear and to live with fear, especially for women. So I agree with the death penalty. I also want to say that once I'm giving those information with the most respect for anyone, and also I respect the opinions of other people. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Carolina. Great. All right, it was a very interesting, as you said, this can be controversial, right? So it's great you were brave just by showing this presentation here, because it's something that we actually need to talk, right? It's something very important. And as you said, because of the things that are happening, we need to make some decisions. And sometimes the decisions are going to be like that. It involves sometimes other person's life. But if you're talking about people who kill other people, people who don't care, right, about the life of a child, of women in general, as you were saying, you need to take some measures, right, and do something. And you showed your posture over there, your position, and it's really good. Okay, thank you for sharing that, Carolina. Great. So I wanted to start with that. I'm going to start then giving you my feedback in terms of the presentation itself. All right. So the time, as always, you have a very good time management. You're in the 15 minutes, right, and in between the range, and it's very positive. All right. So you're in that. Good. That's the first positive aspect. The other positive aspect is that I think you followed all the structure. All right. I just have one observation over here. It's not too negative, because you were also paraphrasing and you were using your own words. For example, in the introduction, right, you had the question, a very interesting warning that I liked a lot, right? You said, before starting, I'm going to tell you the following, right? You have to take this with respect. I'm going to do it with the seriousness, right, that it's required because this is a delicate topic, right? And I need to mention that a reflection, and it was very positive. The only negative thing is that you were reading, I know because you didn't know that one, but they were sentences that were too long. All right, too long sentences that you were reading. Then you were paraphrasing, which is very positive because I noticed, right? Even if you are reading from someone else, but you were not, you were paraphrasing with your words. So that's positive, all right? That's why this negative aspect is not going to be as negative, all right? Because you were also paraphrasing, using your words, and well, supporting those ideas, all right? Very interesting elements before the body, all right? I like that a lot because your introduction was very strong, all right? It was very, very strong. It was different. It had all the elements, but it was very strong and very interesting. In the body, again, all the details in every element, lots of facts, all right? You showed a lot of information, pictures, charts, graphics. It was very good. Ideas to support your decision. Again, I noticed that one. Also, you were reading long sentences, all right, long ideas. Some of those perhaps could have been avoided because they were not definitions, so you didn't need to read that like in the same way you wanted to. Perhaps you only had to write only parts of those elements, all right? For example, improvement for the economy, right? And the reduction of something, right? And giving me some words, only some words, to remember what you wanted to say, right? Just for this presentation. But it was not bad because afterwards you did something that is very, very positive, that is showing those pictures that I said before, right? And you were explaining those pictures. And you said, right, this is this city, and this graphic is showing this and that information, all right? So that was very, very positive over there. That's why you are like in a balance, all right? These reading long sentences may affect a little bit, but the idea of showing pictures and paraphrasing over that is going to balance that, all right, that loss over there. Then the conclusion, again, very well. The summary, restating the same idea, and you work with a lot of paraphrasing and reflection in the last part, all right? So in general, very good. Just be careful with those long sentences in your presentation, all right? Good. Now this one, you're going to practice this with me. These words are going to be, first I'm going to read all of them. Legalized, all right? Legalized. This one, sometimes you were pronouncing this correctly, but sometimes you were pronouncing this incorrectly, right? Crimes, only crimes. Sometimes I heard it sound like cream, but not crimes, right? Crimes. The stress, result or results, all right? In the last part, results. Could be, I don't know if this was conjugation mistake or pronunciation. Could be eliminate, you say, but eliminated, right? It's missing a D over there. Okay, so it was either pronunciation or conjugation, one of those. Occurred, all right, occurred. Republic, like E and A, republic. This one was okay, but remember, one woman, two women, more like E, all right, women. And then be careful, if you mispronounce this, you're going to say this, all right? So this is loss and this is lows, all right? So loss, like a very dried O, all right? Loss. That's it. One more time I'm going to say legalized, crimes, result, eliminated, occurred, republic, women, and loss. Let's read all of those, please, Carolina.
Okay, teacher. Legalized, crimes, result, could be eliminate, occur, republic, women, and laws.
Good. This one more time, because it was the same mistake. I heard could be eliminate, but it's missing the D. How do you read that with the D?
Could be eliminated.
Eliminated, exactly. Very good. All right, that's it. And in the next part, these expressions, I will emphasize in 5 areas that I think are it's better again if you use here the word main, that are the main areas, all right, main. As a consequence, and you were explaining that I was mentioned, again, this was either conjugation or pronunciation. I think it was conjugation this time. That's why it's here, that I was mentioning or that I mentioned, one of those two, right? I was mentioning or I mentioned. I don't know how, I think again, this was not a big mistake, but you missed one word. How much money, right? Not how money, how much money. This is related to the next one. If we know that money, perhaps you can say, if we know the amount of money, right, that is invested in prisons and so on, we could spend in, if you're using this preposition, you use improving, in improving the, I don't know, whatever you want in these areas or those areas. Hard is a short adjective, so you don't say most, you say the hardest, right? The hardest things. If we, instead of research, it can be valid as I told you, but it's better to say if we do research or if we do some research. It was impressed, but I think you wanted to mention the word that it was impressive. All right, it was impressive when you were talking about Singapore, right? It was impressive. Just with a little investigate, perhaps just with a short or with a little investigation could be, all right? Or with a little or with little research, but not investigate, all right? Investigation or research. That's it. You don't need to repeat anything here. I just want to know if you have any questions about this feedback, Carolina.
No, teacher, thank you so much. It's okay.
Great. That's it then. Again, it was a very interesting, all right, in a very topic. It's really interesting to talk about that, to show our opinion. It's always important, right? As you were saying, it's important to respect and tolerate, right, different opinions and positions, but it's also important to show what you think, right, and to defend your own position, all right? Thank you very much, Carolina. That's it with you.
Thank you, teacher.
All right, you're welcome. There you go. So I'll stop sharing my screen once again, and I'm going to go with you, Majo, to finish today's presentations, please.
Okay, teacher, thank you. Carito, can you share my presentation, please?
Yes, sure.
Okay, teacher, I'm ready.
Okay, let's begin, please. I'm starting my timer.
Okay. Do you prefer eat fast food every day or homemade food? Today, we ask ourselves what is the best option for our daily lives. It will be the best and the most comfortable thing to cook every day. And today I will show you some advantage and disadvantage about cooking and eating junk food. Let's begin. Next, please. The advantage of eating junk food. The biggest advantage of unhealthy food is that it's cheap compared to the other foods. This is the reason why young people consume more, university or school students, since they are looking for a cheaper option. Additionally, they are also available anywhere, which make it easy for people to eat such foods as they don't have to go too far, eat their favorite food. It is easy, and it is easy to transport, to take home. You can take it anywhere without any problem. So you take food like tacos, pizza, hamburgers, French fries, anywhere you want, because it requires little space compared to other foods. So also there are many new applications to order food from your home. Next, in the same presentation, please. There is a lot variety of and taste goods. This is the reason why they are addictive and are also available in many varieties. So in the case of pizza, you have the option to eat different types of pizza with tomato, with with different types of cheese from our pizza. Now, fast food restaurants offer more options to customers. The flavor of the soda and the size, different payment options, promotions with discounts, or there are 2 days of 2 for 1. Another point in favor of junk food is that you do not clean. Yes, you do not clean, they do not get dirty, you do not waste time cleaning the glasses, pots, and utensils. Next, please. Disadvantage. It is unhealthy and leads to many illnesses. The biggest problem with junk food is that they are very unhealthy. Junk food leads to many problems such as diabetes, high blood pressure, gastrointestinal problems, and other similar illnesses. This is the reason why children are seen today at a very young age suffering from this disease. This often contains a lot of sugar, like ice cream, cakes, that can cause diabetes, and it's so dangerous. They are often high in sodium, and can cause cardiovascular disease. Therefore, in a way, fast food has made children and the young generation vulnerable to many diseases to that type. Other disadvantages are gain weight. Another problem with junk food is that it contains a lot of calories and fat. Therefore, regular consumption of food can lead to weight gain or obesity. That's a big problem in the future for individual girls or boys. And the other is addictive. Yes, junk food is addictive. Another disadvantage of this food is that they are very addictive because for children, they start eating this food, refuse to eat healthy food. And wherever they go out, then they will always prefer these unhealthy foods over the other foods. Next, please. Yes, so once we know the advantage and disadvantage of junk food, we will talk about the benefits of homemade food. Next, please. The advantage. The fact that it is homemade food already almost totally assures you that will be healthier and more nutritious food with less salt and sugar. Yes, one of the advantages are balanced diet, as you are the one who buys the ingredients and prepares all the dishes. You can vary the food and achieve an excellent balance to be healthy and have a correct diet. Other is eating at home. Eating at home reduce what you consider unnecessary in your diet, especially sugars, fats, or salt. You have much more real control of what you eat. Other is portion control. In many restaurants, the food portions are excessive, and that increase the risk of being overweight, because we tend to always eat what is in our plate. Other is if you cook and serve your food, it is much easier for you to take a control the amount of what you eat without leaving you're hungry, avoiding the risk of eating too much. And another is choice of recipes. Nobody, only us and our mothers, knows exactly our tastes, and the limit in the kitchen is only set by your imagination and predisposition too. At the same time, it allows us to cook enough food. For example, to cook grilled meat or fish well, it is preferable to eat without oil and put the only directly on the food. Or we can steam the vegetables instead of boil, thus getting much flavor without adding salt. And it's important to better planning. A healthy diet must be varied and must comply with weekly consumption frequency and protein foods. In this way, we avoid spending 3 days in raw eating beef or chicken. Buying ourselves and cooking at home, we can organize better and freely attending to our schedule needs. Other is saving money. That is so important. Buying yourself and cooking at home is always much cheaper than buying a pre-cooked dish, already prepared food, or let alone go to the restaurant. And disadvantage. Tired. If you are tired and the time it takes to go buy everything you need and then cook it. The biggest problem in home cooking is the mess that needs to be cleaned up every night. Wash the entire pot, glasses, utensils, load dishwater with dishes. Cleaning the stove is very tiring, teacher. I don't know if I say tiring. So shopping or go to the supermarket should be done twice a week. If you want your vegetables to be as fresh possible, you need to buy the vegetables and cook them 3 days maximum. And have frequently used ingredients on hand and go to the specialist stores or supermarkets. Even people who live far away have to go to the supermarket or downtown all the time. Next, please. And my conclusions. I have 3 conclusions that are very interesting. The first, cooking is a tool and can help us explore and express all our creativity. Try recipes, change ingredients, combine them, and make dishes for you, for only. Preparing your own food will make you appreciate, enjoy, and savor more intensely. And if you have children at home, the kitchen can serve to entertain them while they learn about a healthy food or eating habits. Likewise, cooking at home can help implement a good system of participation, a teamwork. And a study of John Hopkins University showed that cooking at home is the best option for our health, since this makes food more natural, healthy, and nutrition, in addition to being able to better calculate the amount of salt and sugar and oils added. So because of all these reasons, is why I think the best options to eat healthy, delicious, and little more cheap is a homemade food. Yes, that's all, teacher.
Thank you very much, Majo. Great. Again, let me share my screen to give you my feedback. All right. So there you go. And it's over here. All right, good. So again, sometimes we can talk about things that are like not so controversial, right? Or sometimes simple things, but even though they are simple, we can mention very interesting things about them, right? For example, your topic, Majo, right? Talking about food, what kind of foods is better, perhaps, and showing, right, advantages and disadvantages for each type of food or each type of way of preparing food is going to make us perhaps make a better decision. But it was really interesting because of the elements that you mentioned. Some of those things are many aspects that we know, but we forget, right? And we still eat a lot of junk foods, a lot of fast food that is going to be and is in general dangerous for us, all right? So it's great to show that difference and to show the advantages and disadvantages of each, as I was saying, all right? Now, going to the presentation, it was not bad in terms of time. We're 12, all right, 12 minutes and 34 seconds. We're missing, all right, we're missing some minutes over there in time management. You can try to improve that one, perhaps preparing something before or try to practicing before, but sometimes it happens, right? We have something prepared and we don't have the time that we needed, or sometimes we say things fast and we finish before expected, all right? So, but it's 12 minutes and 34 seconds. In terms of the structure, I think you had everything. It's down below over here. You had the question, the answer, and your reason. And you mentioned something you're going to mention afterwards. You gave some benefits of both options. That was really interesting. You were contrasting and comparing both by showing examples and by showing, as I said before, the advantages or disadvantages of each option, right? So that was very good because everything was like a big comparison, but you got to show benefits for your option. And finally, you got the summary with 3 points that you mentioned with reflection, and you use some of the expressions that we were learning, right, to finish the presentation. All right, so that's for the structure. Now, this is something important. We're going to read this with you, please, Majo. Sometimes they were, again, well pronounced, but the stress was a little bit different or they were mispronounced. First, I'm going to read everything. Advantage, right? Advantage or advantages, right? The S needs what the yes, all right? Advantages. Let's repeat that
Okay.
one, please.
Advantages.
Okay, good. First in singular and then in plural. Advantage, advantages.
Advantage, advantages.
Okay, very good. This one, the second time was good, all right? But the first 2 times was kind of not good. That are more like so compare.
Compare.
Available.
Available.
Variety.
Variety.
Tomato, right?
Tomato.
Word, tomato. Sometimes I think there's a place which they pronounce this differently, right? But then in the standard one is going to be tomato. This one was good, but that a little bit more like customers. The same here, please. It's going to be singular and plural. The disadvantage and disadvantages.
Disadvantage and disadvantages.
This one is more like diabetes.
Diabetes. Okay. Diabetes.
Good. Disease and diseases. You were saying sometimes good, but again, diseases.
Disease and diseases.
Good. The stress, only the stress. The pronunciation was good, but addictive.
Addictive.
The TH over here, healthier. Excessive, the stress.
Excessive.
Good. The stress also here, preferable.
preferable.
This one, remember, more stress over here. Vegetables.
Vegetables.
This one, I'm not sure, I think it was the pronunciation, pre-cooked.
Pre-cooked.
And this more like ingredients.
Ingredients.
All right, good. Thank you, Marco. Now, in terms of the conjugation and expressions, it was when you use prefer, you have to use infinitive or gerund. All right, so you have to ask, do you prefer to eat?
To eat.
Or eating? One of those two. All right, but don't say
teacher.
eat, only eat. Then here, in the same presentation, when you didn't want Carolina, right, to change you call that the slide, right, in the same slide. Then this one, the heart, yes, you said something about the heart, and then you mentioned the adjective vulnerable, but you didn't connect that with a verb. All right, so one verb was missing to connect that idea. The heart something was or is vulnerable, right? I think that was the thing over there. For children's, right, you don't need that S, only for children. Then without living, I didn't get this one, perhaps you remember, Majo, you said something like this. Without living or leading, you're hungry. But if it was something like that, I would say that it's not going to be correct. Perhaps it was something different. I don't know if you remember that part, all right? But it should change. If you find it, let me know. If not, this one, even people who lives, but at people, right, plural, who live, only live, right? Because it's plural. And a study at show that, but in this case, it's going to be shows that, all right?
Okay, teacher.
All right, so do you remember about this one, Majo? Let me know, please.
Yes, I don't remember very well, but it's about, I don't remember, teacher. If you cook and serve your food, of what you eat without leaving you hungry.
Okay, perhaps it was without that, like that. Okay, leaving you hungry in a certain way. Okay, if it's like that, it can be possible, all right? But that's going to be something extra, all right? The most important ones are the other ones that I mentioned. Do you have any questions about this feedback? Let me know, please, Marco.
No, teacher, anything.
Okay, good. Again, it's a great idea and good that little by little, right, we are using our own words to structure the presentation, and that's going to be the best way, right, to keep improving the speaking. So that's going to be it, Majo. I don't have any more comments. I don't know if you want any more comments or if you have any questions to finish.
No, anything, teacher. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Good. So that's going to be it. All right, that's going to be it. The only thing I'm going to do now is copying and pasting this over here, and I'm about to finish this with you. Now, I'm going to ask you a big favor, all right? Big favor, sorry. The following week, which is going to be Tuesday, is going to be the day in which we're going to have our last, let's say, listening session, right? Sometimes the last course, you were not present, right, in that last conversation. It's very important now to do it, please, because that's going to be the day in which I'm going to give you the final survey, all right, to rate and to tell me about this course. And it's going to be also the last conversation to finish the program itself. Then you may go to the TOEFL preparation course. And well, I would like to have like a last talk with all of you to give you my final feedback, recommendations. And again, it's going to be important for you to be there to fill out that survey. All right, so please don't forget, Monday, we don't have any activities on Monday, but Tuesday is going to be the last presentation, just 15 minutes to do that. All right, do you have any questions about it? Let me know, please. No? All right. Now, again, here we're going to finish the class. I'm going to ask that one more time for everything in general. Majo, Estefania, and Carolina. Do you have any last questions or comments about this class? We're going to have our own conversation on Tuesday about the class and the closing, but about this presentation and about some elements that we covered today. If you have something, let me know, please. If not, we're going to finish the class here. What do you say? Anything? No? All right, we're going to finish. Just let me copy this. Is going to be for you also, Majo. So I'm just going to tell you this again. If you want to work this word, all right, and you want to let me know how you're doing and you want me to give you some corrections, just let me know and you can contact me. That's going to be it. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your time, for working on your presentations. This is going to be like the usual poll. Let's please complete this one. All right. Have a great night. Have a good weekend. And I'll see you on Tuesday, please. Thanks again, girls. Take care.
Thank you, teacher. Goodbye.
Thank you, teacher. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Good night. See you
Bye,
next week.
teacher.
Bye-bye. See you.